Hello to everybody at the UJ Orange Carpet event. My name is Andre van Zyl. I run the Academic Development Center at UJ. My area of speciality is student success, and it's something I'm personally interested in, but also academically. I'm honored to be able to speak to you, and I want to add my voice of congratulations to those of everybody else who's congratulated you on being here. I will give you some of the stats later very quickly, but you are part of the top 5-6% of the country's young people having been invited to this event, possibly even a smaller group. So you've done really well, and I think it's appropriate to congratulate you. And I want to start off by offering that sincere congratulations from my side. But you will find that at UJ, at our Orange Carpet event, we often don't stop there, because this is not just a recruitment event for us. It's more than that. We also would like to see you succeed. And as a result, it's important for us to share the fine print of coming to higher education with you. To be fair, we need to tell you what you can expect. And I think many people don't do that. And we find that students therefore struggle. Now, in my experience, and I've been at university as a student first and then as an employee quite a bit later in my life for quite some time. And I've only seen students arrive at university in two ways. And these two ways are illustrated by the two video clips you'll be watching right now. Now, in the first clip, we see an aeroplane coming into land. Now, I don't know what you know about aeroplanes, but a plane isn't supposed to land like that. That is quite a bumpy landing. Not very pleasant. A tough landing is what I would call it, but everybody's alive. If we then look at the second clip, you will see that what's happening there is different from this. It's not a tough landing. It's somebody who's in control, somebody who's done this before, somebody who has landed many planes, the best in their school, arriving ready for what is ahead. And then when the actual landing has to be made, it doesn't work out the way they expected. And I call that option crash and burn. And I think, ladies and gents, today it's important to realize that you will arrive at university either having a tough landing, or you will come in overconfident and underprepared, and you're going to struggle. And the possibility of crash and burn exists because of the difference between school and higher education. Higher education is just so much more difficult. And this is not just a South African phenomenon. If you look at the cartoon you see now, that cartoon is American. The bottom step says primary school, the second step says secondary school, and last step says higher education or university. You'll see some people in Batman suits, pushing their hands down, trying to help people up. But the fact of the matter is, it's a really, really big jump, much bigger than anything you've ever faced before. As a matter of fact, at certain points in one's life, you're going to be challenged to take massive steps up. And I think it's important for you to realize the fine print of university is that it's one of those spaces, and you must prepare yourself mentally and academically, but mostly mentally, for the challenge that is ahead. I want to compare it by using a sports analogy. Now, I could use something cultural, but I'm just going to use sport because I think it makes beautiful sense in this instance. Let's say you were playing some other sport in your school's first team. You were the star of the team, to be honest. Whenever you walked around in school, everybody noticed you. The grade 8s were looking up. You're really impressive. You've got all of these things coming down, your blazer, very impressive. And at one of your school games where you have a particularly good game, some other selector from somewhere comes to watch, and the next thing you know, you get selected for a club or a provincial team. And the next Saturday, you walk into that dressing room. And all of these players you've seen on TV, or at least you've heard about, sit in that dressing room and they look at you walking in with your school kit and your school kit bag. My question is, how much respect are they going to give you? Have you proven yourself to them yet? And the answer is no. You haven't. Clearly you haven't. But let's say you even have a good game there, a really, really good game. And the next Saturday, you get called up for the national team. And the next Saturday, still with your school kit, you haven't even had time yet to get your provincial kit. You walk into the national dressing room. These people you've idolized, whose posters you've had up in your room, the people who you've watched on television, often, whom you wanted to meet, are now sitting in that dressing room. And you come walking in with your kit bag. My question to you is, how much respect are they going to give you? And the answer is very little, because you've not been selected based on what you've already achieved, but what you achieved in the past and the potential that you've shown. The step up is a massive step. And what you must realize is higher education is like making the academic national team directly from your school team. It is a massive step up, and you're going to have to prepare yourself for that. You're going to have to ask yourself, how badly do I want this? Do I really want this qualification? Because what you're going to face is going to be tougher than anything you've faced before, academically speaking. It is very, very difficult, and you're going to have to prepare yourself for it because, as I said before, university is the academic national team. And as a result, what we're going to expect of you is massive. But it's also worth it because if this forms part of your own vision for your own life, it's going to play a massive role in your own future. If you imagine yourself 10 years into the future with or without a qualification, your life can potentially look very different. Now, we've selected you sitting here today in this orange carpet event or coming to university based on your potential, your previous track record, what you've shown us in the past. We've selected you for very good reasons, so please don't misunderstand me. We don't think we've selected you to fail. As a matter of fact, every single person that goes to higher education is part of the top 17% of our country's young people because that's how much space we have in higher education. Once we've filled that 17%, we are full. So 17% of 18 to 24-year-olds can participate. For you to get in means you are in the top 17% of that group. For you to be here today means you're probably in the top 1 or 2, maybe 3% of the country's young people. That's a real compliment. But it's also important to know many people like you came to university very excited and they still didn't make it with a similar track record to yours because of the difficulties that they faced when they came. If we look at the national stats, we see quite an improvement over the past decade. We see in 3-year degrees, actually in degrees and diplomas, when we compare the two, we see between a quarter and a third of people finishing their qualifications in a 3-year period. The students, when they look at a 3-year qualification and you ask a student, when you finish a 3-year qual in 3 years, what do you call it? They call it record time. Now, I can tell you, we at university don't call it record time. It's the minimum time. That's what you're supposed to be doing. And if we look at dropouts, we find that about a quarter to a third of students drop out without ever completing a qualification. Now, that's much better than it was in the past. But you must realize it means 1 out of 4 or possibly 1 out of 3 people coming to university don't ever get a qualification. And I think many people think universities want that, but I can honestly tell you it's not what we want. We can't make it easier, but we would like you to pass and we would like you to actually get your qualification. So what can you do? What do you need to know? And what can you do to stop this from happening to you? And I think what I would want to say here is you need to think. And my own advice from my own experience is firstly that you need to attend class. It's crucial that you attend class, that you're open to new study methods, that you're open to asking for assistance when you need it. What I often find is that students are used to people looking out for them at school. And when they come to university, the classes are 700 students in size. And they expect the lecturer to see them there at the back and point them out and help them. And it's not going to happen. And to ask for help early if you need it. Because that's the only way we're going to be able to help you. We spend millions of rands every year to assist our students. But we need you to be the adult here and step up and ask for the help when you need it. And to do so as early as possible. And then real time management is going to be crucial. I want to end my talk off, and I've said quite a bit. And I mean, I hope I haven't chased you away from university. That's not my purpose. But I think from UJ's perspective, we want you to be informed about what is ahead. I want to end off with 2 quotes. The first quote really struck me because I think it is so true. You need to imagine your life 10 or 20 years down the track. And the first quote speaks to that. And the quote says, "The chief cause of unhappiness in our world today is people giving up what they really want for what they want now." And I see that happen to so many students. They give up what they really want for what they want now. And then the last quote actually comes from a cowboy writer's book. The guy is called Louis L'Amour, and he wrote a book, The Walking Drum. It's not a cowboy book. But in this book, the main character says something. He's a man in the book, but I've changed it to a woman because I think it's good for us to read it the different way. But it's true for a man or a woman. The character in the book says the following: up to a point, a woman's life is shaped by the environment, heredity, and movements and changes in the world about her. Then there comes a day when it lies within her grasp to shape the clay of her life into the sort of thing she wishes it to be. Only the weak blame their parents, their race, their times, their lack of good fortune or quirks of fate. Everyone has it within his power to say, or their power to say, "This I am today, that I shall be tomorrow." This wish, however, must be implemented through deeds. Ladies and gents, last word from me. This is that moment. Coming to university is that moment. You're going to shape the clay of your life into the sort of thing you wish it to be. My advice is, use the help that is available, use the opportunity that you've been given. We would love to see you succeed. And for those of you coming to UJ, we look forward to receiving you there and welcoming you at our university. Thank you very much.